Our game, The Siege of Rome, is about the end of the Roman Empire and the struggle to hold off the barbarians. In order to make it feel like the barbarians and the Romans are two different armies, we made the game somewhat asymmetrical and allowed the barbarians freedom in choosing their starting units while we kept the Romans in formations. We were thinking of using a 1d12 originally for movement to distribute the total movement points, but then we later changed it so that the die was to distribute how many units you can move that turn. A 12-sided die was too large for this, and we considered an 8-sided die or two 4-sided dice, but we eventually just went for a 6-sided die. We were going to have archers, cavalry, and infantry at the start for our 3 unit types. We changed to ballista because of a 3D model that we saw, but then we changed back to archers because of historical accuracy. Also, we were starting Rome off with legions, and at first it was like 10 or 12 units, but we had to scale that down so the barbarians could actually attack Rome properly, and also to encourage the both sides to hire more units, because with 10 or 12 units you can rule the battlefield with just those. And then at first we had buildings such as farms and barracks that you could construct, but to streamline the game we removed those, and now there's just farms on the battlefield that you can capture. So then dice were only for movement points after that. One of the original thoughts for the game was to have it be a cooperative game against the threat of barbarians, the plague, and famine. But then we changed it to Romans versus barbarians. And I was thinking about having this plague be able to spread between units, but that would have been rather complicated to do. And then when we removed the structures so that you can only capture the farms, not build more, we also added an army maintenance thing so that the larger an army you had, the more food and coin you needed. We have cards to kind of simulate the famine and the plague aspects, and a lot of those are like the famine or the plague, but there are some cards that are actually helpful that'll get you more food or something like that. And so those are the event cards, and then there's also action cards, which are cards that you can play to attack your enemy's units. And early on, the event cards are biased against the barbarians because they're just like getting a foothold in the area, and Rome's still pretty strong. But then towards the end of the period, Rome is weakening and the barbarians are stronger, so Rome has more chances to get starvation or plague or all that. Neither side can get the plague before 500 because it was referring to a historical plague called Plague of Justinian, which was third worst pandemic in history. We were going to use dice to attack the capital, but then we changed it so that you had to get 2 different unit types into the capital, and it made it easier to do.